Well, with our platform, we go through a process with you. We go through an onboarding process. Part of that onboarding process is let's find out what kind of industry are you? Are you education? Are you a manufacturer? Are you retail? And there's, of course, AI algorithms on the back that help decide how this thing is put together. So we may say, okay, well, what frameworks do you align with? Do you have compliance frameworks? So we may be able to say, oh, okay, we're going to choose CIS 8.1, we're going to choose NIST CSF. Maybe they are a CMMC level 2 site. We can choose all those because on the back end it's going to harmonize, going to bring it all together. And if you notice over here on the right, this is just an example of some of the questionnaires that get dynamically built. Based upon what you've chosen, there may be a attestation questionnaire around Active Directory, around cloud security. I don't have it on the screen, but some of them is even AI, generative AI, because if people are using it, you need policies, you need processes around it. And then this is a fictitious company. I refer to it as kitchen sink because in our demo environment, I throw everything at it, so it's the kitchen sink. But this is just an example. So let's say we've onboarded you, we've gone through all these questionnaires. This is on a 10 scale, and this fictitious company here is 5.4. So that's something you can give to leadership. They're like, what does that mean? And you can give them a little more detail. You can build a security report. You can say, okay, leadership, if you recall, we have to deal with PCI DSS because we process credit cards. We're currently 44% in compliance with that. They're going to ask, what do we need to do to get better? Because they know there could be fines involved. They know that there could be costs. And from there, wow, okay. There's also a profile on scores. So while these are hard to read because it's an eye chart from back there, there's physical security, there's human resources, passwords, all of these different areas. If you notice here, the gray bar, which is kind of hard to see, you're going to notice that these are industry targets. These are industry averages of like where a target should be. So a lot of those, you see, they don't go to 10. It's rare you're going to have something that goes to 10. But based on this fictitious company, you can see, hey, they're doing pretty good with the human resource requirement. They're almost there with passwords. Endpoints were really looking good. But you go over here, and it's like, oh, cloud security, 1 out of 10, that's probably going to need some work. So you can build things based upon that. And actually, over here on the left, before I go too far, you'll notice there's task progress. You might have 200-300 tasks that show up, and you're like, well, how do I deal with that many tasks? Well, then we can categorize those as far as critical. Let's focus on your criticals first. We can even look at scores profiles. So we might say we're going to filter on not only the critical tasks, which ones might have an increase to my score of 0.5% or higher. Not that it's going to increase your overall score that much or higher, but if you're at 5.4, which ones are above a certain level that we can increase our score? Well, then you can narrow down that 200-300 tasks to maybe 12. You focus on those. You build something that's meaningful, leadership. You can show them that score over time. You can bring it up. And even with compliance, you may say, okay, like here, it's rare you're going to have somebody with all of these requirements, but you can see here I've chosen 4 frameworks. You can see where you are with those requirements. Now, I kind of wish I would have highlighted on CSS. Oh, actually, I did do CIS. Okay. The implementation groups, this is where implementation group 1, 2, and 3, if your focus is let's get the implementation group 1 knocked out, you can continue to bring this into leadership in your monthly management meetings or whatever and say, hey, we're looking pretty good. Our implementation group 1 is almost there. It's all about scores. Once again, these tasks, they may say implement multi-factor. They may say implement patch management, but you're not having to bring that to leadership. They're saying, how do we bring this up? What's it going to cost? Well, then you can ask for to get here, that's patch management. It's going to require this much investment. So then you kind of get that meaningful request that you can bring forward to them. So here, even with this is where I did a little bit of filtering. I'm like, okay, let's say we filter on everything critical and anything that's CSF 2.0. So out of these 217 tasks, it narrowed it down to 4 items. So, okay, looks like we need to have encryption of sensitive data in transit. We need to have some policies. And of course, this system can also build policies as we go through Most companies, their policies are horrific. This will help build those. It gives you some information to go by. Even with policies, as we go through here, if you don't have an Active Directory policy, if you don't have cloud security, compliance, and auditing, not only can we help build those, we can see how compliant you are with your policy that on the back end aligns with those best practice frameworks and everything else. And this is just an example of once you get into a policy, like this is, which one is this, access policy. You can look at all the tasks. If you notice down here, I know it's hard to see, but there's like little green checks. Those are things we've already complied with. Those let you know, hey, we can continue to go down this path.